Wyden, what, 5 more minutes?
To be divided 1 minute with my colleagues getting 1 minute.
And then if we can do that, we can get over to vote before they call the vote on the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And as you know, I'm a big, have great reverence for your family from Massachusetts. When I got out of college, I was in the first class of Robert Kennedy Fellows, the memorial created by your family to honor the service of your father. I do community organizing in the west side of Chicago. And I certainly admire your energy in your effort here and desire to serve. You know, there's a couple of things that are really important here. This is not just about a debate on vaccines. It's a debate about the qualifications, experience, and priorities as to the person that will head Health and Human Services. And it's not just about what your answers are today or what the questions are. It obviously has a lot to do with your whole record and your whole history. You know, your sister in her letter, or pardon me, your cousin in her letter said, you've always been charismatic, able to attract others through the strength of your personality, willingness to take risk and break rules. That's, I guess, an attribute, but it can be a danger. The question I fundamentally have is whether your willingness to disrupt and maybe break rules is going to be dangerous and destructive. The character questions we didn't go into here, but there's some sketchy things you've acknowledged. Your history with heroin, you've gotten over that, but there's incidents that do, I think, concern the question of whether the stability is there to be in charge of this major organization. And that's compounded by my concern that you don't have any experience managing a large organization, that you don't have any experience in government. So those are things that have to be taken into account. But the issue for me is also priorities. A lot of your engagement in health has been on vaccines, big important issue. You actually disagreed, as I understand it, with President Trump about Operation Warp Speed. I think President Trump deserves a lot of credit for Operation Warp Speed. He knew we had to get a vaccine. And these other issues about a mask and whether you should wear it, whether when you got your groceries, the bag had to be left outside, remember that in the very beginning? Those are incidental to the core question that the president believed we had to have a vaccine. And you contested that. That worries me. That really deeply worries me. The other questions, Senator Cassidy asked you some questions about our healthcare system. I happen to believe that our healthcare system is profoundly broken. And it's not just about the chronic illnesses. That's about our diet, that's about our exercise. But we are getting premium increases in Vermont of 20% a year, 25% a year. And it's busting the bank for taxpayers. It's busting the bank for our wonderful Vermont employers who care about having health insurance that they can provide to their employees. Senator Cassidy asked you a couple of questions about how you would reform Medicaid. And I didn't hear an answer. You mentioned that you thought Medicare Advantage was good. You have a good plan. No focus on what an incredible ripoff was reported in the Wall Street Journal by United Healthcare, which was marketing Medicare Advantage and then paying doctors and nurses where they had assignments essentially to diagnose illnesses that didn't exist. So they made billions and billions of dollars. And I've seen nothing coming out of the Trump administration, and I've seen nothing coming out of your advocacy that is going after what is a rampant abuse by the insurance companies and overcharging people and not doing the job. And by the way, the United Healthcare people, when they did that, they overdiagnosed. When the person really got sick, they dumped them. They dumped them. Go to the nursing home on your own. That's a broken healthcare system. We spend the most and get the least. And I think there should be collective anger about this on both sides because all of our people are dependent on that healthcare system. And you're going to be working for a president who's on a lawless rampage right now, okay? He has done something reckless with the pardons to these cop beaters. I'm appalled by that. But that's just reckless. That's not illegal. He's impounded money. So right now, the Medicaid website went down. He's impounded money. So the community health centers that Senator Warner was talking about are up in the air as to what they can do. Do you believe that a president can impound money that has been appropriated by Congress?
Senator, let me answer the question about Medicare first. I have never defended that program or the rapacious behavior by insurance companies or the PBMs. I understand that's a huge problem. And
all right, I don't have time. We've got to get over to vote. So we can do this.
But you've asked me 5 questions. You got to give me a chance to answer one of them.
Please be brief.
Yeah, I brought in, if I get confirmed, I've already appointed a general counsel. The first time in history is a former prosecutor who prosecuted the biggest Medicare fraud in the case in the state of West Virginia. I brought in a prosecutor for that job instead of a bureaucrat, precisely to address the important issues that you raised here. The only reason I didn't talk about these before is because I wasn't asked about them.
What about
I agree with you 100%.
Right, what about impounding, a president impounding money that, among other things, goes to health care?
And you're saying that that's illegal?
That's correct.
Well, my job is to uphold the Constitution. I'm going to take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and I will administer the law and uphold the Constitution.
Mr. Chairman, I believe under what we've discussed, I control 5 minutes. I'm going to take one and give one to